from anyone.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
We're about to hear some of the greatest takes of all time on Doge from a true American patriot who understands what must be done. Joe Rogan.
When you're looking at all this crazy shit right now with Doge and the uncovering of USAID and this dismantling of this bizarre left-wing ecosystem that's pretty much manufactured, like what do you see is going to happen with the rest of the country?
I mean, look, there are a lot of people who did not vote for Trump. You know, he won. And yes, he won every swing state. And
half the country's a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. So, and I'm not sure how many of them, I wonder how many, so I have a couple questions. How many people didn't vote for Trump and wanted to and are secretly glad he won? I bet there's a pretty significant number of those people who either didn't vote or didn't vote for him but wanted him to win anyway.
Ari says that. Ari says that New York City is like relaxed.
Yeah.
It's like everybody was relaxed after the election. Like even the liberals are like, whew.
Yeah, thank God. They're like, woo.
Yeah, like, thank you, God, you say.
I don't get it. You already won. Like, what? Why are you fantasizing about your popularity being even broader? I just don't. Yeah, no, it's not just that, like, the Trump won the popular vote. He won it by, like, even larger margins, actually. Like, he would have won it by a larger margin, but people were just embarrassed to vote for him. They always have to be, like, in a permanent victimhood status, even when they win. Even when they win, they're still sore winners, you know? They're sore losers already. Yeah, oh, dude, we're still the underdogs.
Save me from myself.
Yeah, exactly. This is God doing for us what we can't do for ourselves. Yeah, so there's that, I wonder. But then I do wonder how many of the people are, what I worry about is how much mental, this is where I get mad at the media for presenting this like.
Oh my, a goblin. Thank you for the 5, get the subs.
Hitler, we're having it notched up to 11 for the past 8 years. And now you've got this, because he was put in, it's almost like that energy has been transferred to Elon now, because now, did you see the Elon protests? They're protesting Elon. They're literally standing out there with signs that say, arrest Elon Musk.
Listen, I guarantee it's organized. I guarantee it's organized by the same people that are going to lose a shitload of money based on all these discoveries at Doge. There's no way they're not. If you look at what Doge is uncovering, what they're uncovering with this USAID stuff, a lot of that stuff was organizing through NGOs protests. They organized the attempt at getting Trump impeached.
Dude, overseas, man. Overseas. I think a lot of you guys don't understand what USAID does. I don't get it. I don't know why they just like refuse to reckon with this. Overseas. You're not wrong entirely, but it's overseas. It's just like, man, they called all the chiefs USAID yesterday. It's a new word. Sometimes I can't tell if they're joking or not. You're so silly. Where else is foreign aid supposed to go than Democrat-run cities? Yeah, the referees, their funding was cut when USAID came down, so they couldn't help the Chiefs win the Super Bowl.
I thought you were going to say killed.
They organized
like,
the impeachment.
That's come out.
They also USAID spent $50 million on the lab that invented coronavirus.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of money involved in this not working. And when you have a lot of money involved, you're going to have organized protest. When you see
Wait, I'm sorry. So Donald Trump's administration was funding a bioweapon in China? Is that the argument? Like Donald Trump's US aid when Trump was president, because that's when COVID happened. Okay, COVID, if it was invented as a bioweapon, are you saying that the Trump administration, in partnership with the Chinese government, was trying to design a bioweapon? This is like when they say January 6th, which happened when Trump was president, is still the fault of not Trump. Or I guess they say Deep State was hiding it from Trump. We have to fire all of these FBI people that Trump hired and appointed because they also turned out to be anti-Trump.
We all want to think protests like the 1960s. Yeah, fight the war, man. It's like organic, like peace, love, and hippie shit. But that's not what this is. What this is organized, funded protests where someone is spending a lot of money and they're mobilizing other NGOs. They're using their access to these mailing lists and all these different things. They're putting these things together.
Yeah, but do you think that the average liberal person, do you think that they're going to wake up and come around? Or do you think that they're going to be in like agony for 4 years and be...
What if it works? Like, what if the world gets safer, the country gets safer, the economy improves, and they don't...
Dude, what if? What if also the price of everything becomes super cheap and every American can purchase a white picket fence home again? Like, what if that were... Dude, what planet are we living on, man? Yeah, that'd be great, dude. That would be awesome. Yeah, what if Trump brought about universal health care? If we're in the business of just like making shit up, how is this political commentary? It doesn't matter. Dude, what if everything was good? What if Donald Trump just ended all the bad things and did all the good things? What if that happened, huh? What would the liberals be mad about then? It's like, okay, lock in, you know?
Tax, civil rights, women's rights, gay rights, all these things that everybody's worried about. And then at the end of it, you realize like, hey, maybe I was wrong.
I mean, that's my question though. Are they capable of that kind of self-reflection?
Okay, what if that doesn't happen? Because no signs point to that happening right now. Okay? So what if that doesn't happen? Will the Republicans turn around and say, okay, maybe we fucked up? I suspect plenty will, as that's literally what happened last time Trump was president. Okay. There will still be a decent number of Republicans who will double down, triple down, quadruple down because they are cultish in their understanding of American politics. But very weird argument to have over hypotheticals when there are zero signs that is the way things are headed. Holy shit, they're bitching 4 years in advance. That's new tech. Yeah. They're like, what if Trump does all the good things, none of the bad things, and then liberals don't actually appreciate it? I suspect that there is a higher likelihood that if Donald Trump were to actually turn this around somehow magically, okay, that there would be more people in support of him than vice versa, where the most predictable outcome occurs and he fucks everything up further and Republicans refuse to reckon with that reality and double down and triple down. Okay? That's what I think.
Well, we're saying they as if it's like one different, like one kind of person.
No, I mean...
There's so many different people in they.
Agreed. I mean, when I say they, I mean people who have bought into the idea that this person is going to make everything worse and we're going to slip into a fascist technocracy.
Some of them. Some of them are going to slip right into it. Some of them are going to wake up and come around. You know, it's a test. It's a test of character. It's a test of objectivity. It's a test of introspection. There's a lot of things that are going to happen where people are going to have to wonder, like, what was I rooting for? When I was rooting for this progressive liberal government, what was I actually rooting for? Was I rooting for warmongers who were making insane amounts of profit by funding overseas wars?
Yeah.
What was I rooting for? Was I rooting for a basic theft of our tax dollars that's gone to all these like completely useless endeavors that were only set up as ways to pilfer money?
Or the fall of America.
Yeah.
You know, this is a weird thing to like hate your own country so much that you want it to fall, or the dismantling of the kind of West as we know it.
Yeah.
You know, I think there is a feeling that Elon might have saved the West.
Yeah.
I feel like at least he's trying to.
I think he did. I think he did, but just by buying X. If
But
he didn't
isn't
buy
it funny
Twitter-
that he got forced into it? I think there's like something kind of
funny
ironic.
because he was trying to get it at a lower price because he knew that they were bullshitting about the amount of bots.
Well, and
How is he saving the what? What? I feel like we're living in an alternative dimension. The West is code for white people. I hate how this is normalized now. I don't even think that Joe Rogan is thinking that deeply into it. I normally I'm inclined to agree with you on this, but and in many instances when people say like Western spirit is it's a substitute term, she might imply that. It's just I got nothing. I mean, honestly, I got nothing. I'm stupid. I don't know what to say to Elon Musk is saving the West. It's been a month. Not even. It hasn't been a full month yet. And there hasn't been a lot of saving of the West. It's mostly just like things that people are control F, like looking up in the government database of things that we're funding and then pointing to it and going, lol, gay. Like that's pretty much all that has happened so far in the last 20 days. That's it. What kind of saving of the West has occurred so far?
And then they came out yesterday and now it's profitable.
Yeah.
There was like a whole article about how he turned it around.
Of course it's going to be profitable. He's
Well,
smarter than you.
He is smarter. He also knows that we are all
Tapped in.
Oh,
yeah.
I can't stop it. Don't you think we're all in echo chambers though, like
Sure.
you said? How do you stay outside of yours?
Drugs.
Oh, that's true.
That helps a lot. No, I'm kidding. You just got to be recognized like you're thinking. You have to have a process.
What's your process?
My-
I live by the Joe Rogan school of interneting.
How's that?
I take all your advice. I don't read the comments and I post and ghost.
That's good.
I don't like get in there and
That's good. I definitely do that. And then
Battle.
I think of like, what do I really think about something and why do I think about it that way?
Hasan is an echo chamber too, technically. Yes, dude. This is the one echo chamber where we're constantly inundated with commentary from virtually every side that opposes what I have to say. And also, we spend a whole deal of time looking at what Republicans are saying. Hopeful echo chamber, it's not very hopeful.
Way. And I try to go, is it because it's self-serving? Is it because I've said it in the past and I want to be right? What is it?
Who
Like,
the echo
what
chamber?
makes me
Yeah.
believe what I believe.
Yeah.
And then you have to do a deep dive and all the goddamn arguments back and forth to figure out who's right, and all the logic and the and see people ignoring certain core facts. Like, this is the most fascinating thing about this USAID thing to me, is how people on the left are completely ignoring all the rampant, obvious corruption
Yeah.
and conflicts of interest in the government funding non-government organizations that in turn fund the government.
Yeah.
Like, that's so crazy. And anybody that doesn't,
Dude, Elon Musk, you cannot mention conflict of interest while promoting Elon Musk. Come on, dude. He is literally a defense contractor. He owns numerous companies, every single one of which has been regulated by the federal regulatory agencies that he is now tasked with controlling and undermining. Elon Musk is a billionaire. Why is it that Republicans always forget? Like, they might hate corporations. They act like they hate corporations like Big Pharma or whatever, right? Or billionaires that want to chip your brain, like Bill Gates, that they suspect wants to chip your brain. But they always have specific carve-outs as long as someone says they're on board with the agenda. Like, they hate Bill Gates because they think Bill Gates is going to do stuff that Elon Musk is right now doing. They're like, oh, I hate the corruption that these stupid billionaires have, where they suckle on the teat of the American government when they defend the one guy who is subsidized by the federal government for every single initiative that he has been involved in. Every single one. Every single one. Not to defend Bill Gates, who was also terrible. Yeah, that's the other side. I also despise Bill Gates for good reasons. Not because I think he wants to microchip people and make them gay, okay? It is crazy. Elon Musk wants to do neurochips constantly, doesn't have a business that doesn't have a single profitable business that doesn't rely on federal government subsidies. But he's woke. I mean, he's not woke. He's combating woke. He's brilliant.
doesn't think that's crazy. It's like, what do you love money influencing everything in your daily life? Don't you think that maybe we have a problem in that we have a huge deficit?
Like, I cannot believe how stupid one can get. How many times they have to slam their head to a wall for them to legitimately think that Elon is doing this not for his own benefit, but because he truly wants to save the West by combating woke. Insanity.
And if part of our huge deficit, we're spending fucking billions of dollars every year on horse shit.
Yeah. I mean, that is my issue with people being like, see, it is the like political thing isn't right, which is true. It's important to be accurate, but it's also like, yeah, but there's this money shouldn't be spent this way.
No.
So just because this thing is maybe not true, you're pointing to this one thing that could be people are misrepresenting, but there's a much bigger problem you seem to want to just sweep under the rug and say, oh, like you guys are just crazy for noticing all these connections. But didn't they make them stop or something? Did they freeze their ability
USAID's
to?
frozen. Yeah.
These kids are nuts.
But
That
here's-
guy who like found the scroll, how to read the scroll from
Burnt
Pompeii.
scrolls from Pompeii. Yeah, using AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're wizards. That's the kind of people that you want digging into this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why Elon got them. I mean, he knows what the fuck he's doing. It's all very strange because it's you're dealing with so many things that are happening at the same time. You have this technology that was never available before that is allowing people to freely express themselves online, right? And then you have this maniac billionaire who buys the biggest one and makes it the Wild West again. And then
Twitter was never the biggest social media platform in America. And it still isn't. Yes, it was. No, it never was. What? No. I mean, that's just one aspect of what he's saying that's just directly wrong. What is Facebook? Yeah, not even a question. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and then Twitter. And this was back in the day. I don't think this is new. I don't think this is a new the numbers have changed since then. This is at Twitter's peak. Twitter at its peak had like a little bit above 20% of the user base. Pew Research stats. Yeah, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, Snapchat, Reddit, X, formerly known as Twitter, at 21%. Be Real at 3%. New house? No, dude. It's the same room.
And you have government being exposed for what it is. So you have all these fucking NGOs, this web of, we talked about it yesterday, this web of 55,000 different NGOs that were supporting all these liberal causes that were all completely intertwined. And they had to use software to find that and to figure it out.
Yeah.
So they're finding out that this is like this complicated propaganda network that existed. Look, that's not good.
No.
That's not good for anybody, left or right, because it's money. It's just money being used in a way. Not only that, here's the thing: like people like saying like the $10 billion. It's only $10 billion. Like that kind of shit. What about the fucking people in Maui?
Yeah.
What about that? Could have been fixed with $5 billion. The government could have said, we are going to rebuild those people's homes to the exact state and even better than where they were before. It's going to cost us $5 billion. All the money that we're sending over to Ukraine, all the money that we send to Israel, all the money we send to all these different organizations that work with USAID in the tune of billions and billions and billions of dollars. They could have done that. And instead of doing that, they're telling us that what we have to do is continue to fund all these programs in all these other countries that just so conveniently have a whole staff of people that's making a great wage, and their political capital is bet on all this stuff, and it all is involved with intertwined with these NGOs and all this money that they're getting. And this is the thing. We have to go and help these people. We're going to starve. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. What about America?
Yeah, and then you
what
have
about
like
our tax dollars going into a safety net to help people from one of the worst wildfires in history?
Or North Carolina.
Or North Carolina.
Yeah.
Exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Apparently, none of those people have gotten any money in North Carolina.
No, and they're like sleeping in freaking tents in the freezing cold.
Exactly. All that could have been addressed too, the same way we address problems in other countries. So if you have this amazing slush fund that USAID is, and it's not being applied at all to the problems of America, why would you think people would support it?
Yeah.
Why would we support it with our tax dollars when we know that the country's massively in debt?
Well, and it's like I appreciate that there's so many problems. I think I do feel like for the first time ever, there is an actual transfer of power. Like every single election through my lifetime, there's been all the normal fighting between the two parties, and then the election happens and one party wins and then nothing changes.
Yeah.
And you just keep sliding and sliding and sliding and sliding. And everybody says they're going to do something and no one does anything. And then you have fucking Elon come in like a wrecking ball and a very motivated and Trump who seems organized this time. And they actually feel like they're making.
No, this is what I'm telling you. Okay. All jokes aside, this is precisely the reason why people think Trump is doing shit. Like, this attitude is the reason why he's so popular. People were asking me before, like, why is his popularity spiked? Or why is he more popular than before? It's because the average person's take, unironically, your coworker take is literally this. They probably don't like Elon as much because these guys have a vested interest in, like, glazing Elon. I would assume the coworker takes are that Elon is not exactly a popular figure in the administration. He's like too neurodivergent for the average person to look at and think is like actually a cool genius. And also the Hitler thing. I think a lot of people were grossed out by that. But as far as like the administration doing stuff, I think they look at Trump, and by way of Trump, Elon Musk doing stuff as well. They look at the media coverage over it. And they don't really think about the impact. They don't really think about the impact of these actions, but they do think it's at least something. Like, they're doing something. They're shaking things up. And if you're angry at the way things have gone so far, then you're not going to immediately be angry at someone who is shaking things up. If people are demanding change and you're offering them at least like some semblance of change, I think the average person looks at this without realizing like what the impacts will look like and thinks, well, at least they're doing something. You know, promises made, promises kept. And I think that's where a lot of people are at. No Republican is grossed out by someone doing the Hitler. Let's be real. Elon made Twitter fascist. No, you're wrong. There is a level of permissible racism that Americans are on board with, and doing a Sig Heil goes above and beyond that. Americans have been trying to get change since 2008. Trump is the first person to seem like he might be doing something different. Yeah, so people are giving him a chance. Too bad. This is basically the Hoover administration 1929. We are beyond fucked. Elon is Trump's melon. Look up Mellon's response to the crash. Liquidate labor, liquidate stocks, liquidate farmers, liquidate real estate. Yeah. No, I if you're angry all the time, like I said, if you're upset all the goddamn time, and this administration is basically shaking things up, you're going to think that it's good before you realize how devastating it is. What? Do you sincerely think they're angry because of material causes? Most conservatives I know are super comfortable. I mean, there are plenty of conservatives that aren't necessarily in great conditions regardless. But I think most people that are still super comfortable have the same financial stressors. Like, in the back of their minds, they know that if they were to get into any sort of like medical trouble, that is going to be incredibly costly, right? Like, that is a legitimate stress. That is a legitimate point of stress for a lot of people. There's also obviously, you know, the inflation issue.
Changes that, by the way, American people want.
Yeah,
Not
like the border. They fixed the border overnight. Overnight.
The looking into there, my friend Max Meyer was saying, he's a very smart guy. He was saying no one with any numerical ability has ever looked into Medicare and Medicaid fraud ever. Like,
well, that's what they're cracking into next.
There's a lot of money there that is like provider side fraud, where it's just inflation.
Dude, I don't want to say anything too crazy here, but I doubt somehow that they're going to tackle that. What are they going to do? Kill Rick Scott, dude? Are you kidding me? I mean, listen, this is maximum level of cope, I think. Like thinking that Elon Musk is going to actually go after Medicare fraud and Medicaid fraud. What? Hassan, be scared as fuck. I thought you said Hitler did nothing wrong. I thought you didn't like Sons of Abraham. Are you going to lead the armed resistance? Are you going to do it? I like that my haters have decided that positions that I have actively been against my whole fucking career, my whole life. You're just going to hallucinate that I'm on board with these things. Get help, please. Take your antipsychotic medication immediately. Anyway.
Wasn't that Sonny Hostin's husband? Isn't he involved in a RICO lawsuit?
Oh, I don't know.
About insurance fraud?
The View person?
Really? That's the first person that comes to mind and not Rick Scott? Like that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I have no idea.
Her husband got arrested.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's one of 200 people charged in some gigantic insurance fraud.
There's a lot of that.
What is that? What's the actual story behind that? Jamie's looking.
Jamie's on it.
He's
yeah,
on it.
But there's they can take I mean, you know how complicated it would be to try and untangle that web of where you're inflating things that people have and you're saying this is like a band. You see these things online where it's like a Band-Aid is $25,000, you know, like what?
Someone explained that to me too, is that when you have a budget, say if you run an organization and has a budget, you get money from the government and that budget's like $80 million a year, you can't spend 60 because then you're going to get 60 next year. You have to spend all 80.
Right.
If you don't spend all 80, you don't get it. You got to say, we need 90.
Right.
We're barely hanging on,
right.
And so you have to charge
Inflation.
like $500,000 for a hammer, and that's literally how they justify their existence. Is the key? They're not in the business of being frugal, and and being responsible.
Yeah. Whereas the American government now certainly is in the business of being frugal. Like for example, when Donald Trump says we're going to give billions of more dollars to Israel, they're doing it in a frugal way, you know. Or when they're penny pinching right now and restructuring ICE to do mass deportations all around the country, that's actually not an incredibly costly program, virtually for no reason whatsoever. That's actually worth every penny. Oh my God. I love being frugal by deporting Guatemalan abuelas.
And making sure that the money is being spent competently. No, they're in the business of keeping their budget coming in. Sonny Hostin's surgeon husband Emmanuel faces solo battle in lawsuit as co-defendants agree to settle. Oh, Jesus. So, okay. Sonny Hostin's surgeon husband has found himself in the hot seat in a massive lawsuit accusing nearly 200 healthcare providers of insurance fraud. Dr. Emmanuel Hostin defiantly called himself the victim of a frivolous smear campaign last month after he was accused of providing fraudulent medical services in exchange for kickbacks in a complaint filed by American Transit Insurance Company in December. Orthopedic surgeon now finds himself increasingly isolated after the vast majority of the defendants have now offered to settle their cases.
Oh, boy.
According to a new court filing obtained by DailyMail.com, American...
I just want to point out that while Rick Scott, former governor of Florida, while Rick Scott was in the private sector, during his tenure as chief executive, his company defrauded Medicare, Medicaid, and other federal programs. The U.S. Department of Justice won 14 felony convictions against the company, which was fined $1.7 billion with a B, in what was, at the time, the largest healthcare fraud settlement in U.S. history. Okay? When I think of Medicare and Medicaid fraud, Voldemort is the first person that comes to mind. Not fucking Sonny Hostin's husband or whatever. I mean, fuck this guy too, by the way. If you're engaging in any sort of like Medicare fraud, yeah, fuck you. Okay? But it's pennies in comparison to what Rick Scott was doing. It's crazy.
Transit, which insures taxi company and Uber Lyft drivers, announced last Monday more than 141 of the 186 defendants named in the suit have agreed in principle to settle one of the largest RICO cases ever filed in New York. The papers filed by the law firm Manning Cass did not specify which defendants offered to settle. Dr. Hostin has until February 10 to respond to the legal complaint. So it has something to do with drives from the hospital and kickbacks from all this shit.
Yeah, it's because there's so that's what they need though, is these guys who can use this AI technology to get in there and start looking on a massive scale at what all of these everything.
Yeah, I don't even think what he's describing is Medicare fraud. I think what he's describing is not even, what is it? Sonny Hostin insurance fraud. Or is it Sonny Hostin? Sonny Hostin's husband. It's medical fraud lawsuit